Hey guys, I'm Ethan, founder of the Unit Agency. I'm super pumped to show you guys who we are, our mission, our goals, and what we set out to do. So over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how we help MSPs grow, the whole system, step by step. My goal obviously isn't to pitch you to go through like a normal sales deck. Just want to show you guys how this works so clearly that you can decide for yourself, whether it fits your business. Referrals, word of mouth, network and community, waiting on inbound, all great forms of leads, especially when starting out, especially the referrals, genuinely the best leads there are, right? The networking, peer groups, community, real but slow. And then inbound, great when someone's already searching, but silent when they're not. So here's the thing, all of these work, and I'm not here to tell you referrals are bad. They're not. The issue is that none of these channels are predictable and none of them, are something you can control. So we build a channel you actually own, something that is consistent and something where hey, Ethan and the Unit Agency can consistently bring us qualified book meetings and leads every single month. So before I show you anything else, I really just want to get into the math, the magic kind of behind it, where we saw a gap in the market. So let's say an average, managed client is 2,000 to 5,000 per month. That's how much an MSP bills. And let's say this contract is 3 years. So the lifetime value of that contract is $70,000, right? The Unit Agency, what we will be charging is just a fraction of that. So what I mean by that is one closed deal of a qualified book meeting that we bring to your company will cover the monthly service cost that we will be charging you. We have this set up in a way where, it just makes fully sense for your business. It wouldn't make sense if you guys, charge a customer $2,000 per month, and that's average, right? Maybe 25 seats, $100 per seat, say 2,500. And if we bill you $5,000, you're losing on money and you're actually not profiting unless you close an absurd amount of deals per month. So we want it to make sense for your business because that makes sense for us. Your success directly correlates to our success. And we'll get into what I mean about that a little more in the next few slides. So who are we? It's as simple as it sounds. Unit Agency is a lead gen agency for MSPs. We find and book you qualified meetings. So all you have to do is focus on running your business and closing those book meetings. So I want to be fully upfront, about how our incentives work. We guarantee meetings in writing. That means we only succeed when real conversations land on your calendar. Like I mentioned before, your success directly correlates to our success, which is why the first thing we do isn't just send a single email. It's sit down with you and actually learn your business, who your best clients are, who you want more of. That curiosity isn't a necessity. It's actually the whole system and really, the backbone of the whole business. We're going to set up this dedicated list. We're going to run through everything with you. Who's your target market? Who's your best client? Who are the decision makers? And, we're going to go through that, and we can launch multiple campaigns, per industry. If you like to dabble in, finance, law firms, dental, whatever it may be. And once we book those qualified meetings on your calendar, all you have to do is close them. So that is the actual step that you guys have to do. So really the first step here is, curiosity, right? Not software or anything else. The first thing we're going to get into is just spend an hour learning your business. Who are your best clients? What niche do you serve? Who do you actually want more of? You might have a client where you could say, hey, we perform better with this specific client, dental offices, and then we'll build a list of decision makers that match exactly that profile, owners, not gatekeepers, and we can exclude, the job titles that we don't want to see, right? You can see in this list over here, I have the industry of financial services. There's 16 million contacts, which is a little crazy. So we're really going to break that down into the job titles we want to look for, what keywords are we looking for in that industry, and so on. And every single contact gets verified before anyone is touched, because bad data is actually how campaigns die. So that's step one. Step two is, I like to say, the engine, right? We're going to set up dedicated sending domains and inboxes completely separate from your business email. So for an example, my domain is unitagencyllc.com. I did this myself. Everything that I will be using with you guys, with our partners, I directly use to get more leads and more business myself. So we actually use this ourselves. It's tested, data backed. We know it works. So we're going to buy 10 domains, for example, say similar to unitagencyllc.com, set up 3 inboxes per domain. Now we have 30 inboxes, 30 senders. We're taking a high volume approach. So what we're actually going to do is warm them for weeks before launch, really 14 to 21 days. And this is the unglamorous part most agencies skip. And it's exactly why their email lands in your spam. Your domain never touches cold outreach, like I mentioned before. And then the campaigns are written to sound just like you. So they're going to be approved by you. They're going to be refined. We can run 5 different versions of one campaign at the same time under one sequence and look at the data within this CRM here and see which one is performing the best, and then really hone in on that and make that our golden goose or our bread and butter. So then step 3 is where we're different from every software tool out there, right? When replies come in, a real person works them, me or one of our partners. We cold call prospects on your behalf too, because software sends emails, but people actually close the gaps. Where an AI tool wouldn't be able to do that, we can close those gaps with sales calls and actually get them that human touch, right? Every prospect gets qualified, every conversation gets logged, and when a meeting lands in your calendar, it comes with full notes. We can even join the meeting with you and be like, hey, Frank, here's Joe. They own a law firm. They're looking for IT services. Here's a little bit more about them. Connect that conversation and let you handle the rest. So you walk in knowing who they are, what they said, and what they need, right? We're not just sending you into these qualified meetings, with a blind spot. So most part, agencies usually keep vague on purpose. There are 3 things, and they all have to be true. A decision maker with authority to buy, a company that fits your criteria, you and I define together, and then they actually show up, right? A no-show is not a meeting, and you're never going to pay for one. So this goes in the agreement in writing before anything launches. So week 1, like I mentioned before, we're going to kick off and we're going to build your target list. We're going to verify those emails. Who's your best target market? Who's your niche? Who are the decision makers? And so on. Week 2 is where we're going to warm them up 14 to 21 days. We're going to build the reputation of inboxes. Copywritten is all approved by you. We're also building the campaigns at the same time. So it's not like you're paying us. It's like, well, Ethan, you're just going to warm up these emails for 2 to 3 weeks and just sign off. No, we're going to consistently refine these campaigns, make sure it's the best possible emails that we're sending out. And we still have these lead lists. So we're actually going to cold call them on your behalf like a personal SDR, which is something else that really sets us apart from pretty much any other agency out there. And then we're going to launch that campaign, right? Replies are worked as they arrive, worked by me, worked by the unit agency. You don't have to handle any of that. We'll have all the inboxes. We'll take care of all of that. And then after that, we're booking meetings. We're making those sales calls. They're coming in. They're getting put on your calendar. And here's where you can see 3 to 6 qualified meetings in your first 60 days. We guarantee 3 of them in writing. Now, I say 3, it seems like a low number because the first 2 to 3 weeks are, warming up those emails. And then that first month is pretty over. And then the next 30 days is where we can basically guarantee those 3 meetings. So this is the unit agency in a nutshell. Super happy to launch, super pumped, to work with future partners, MSPs. Pricing is very flexible, customizable based on the company. Like I mentioned before, we do have a setup fee. usually starting out around $1,500. That is non-negotiable. That is to set up all the software platforms, all the domains, all the inboxes, all the campaigns, everything that needs to be covered in order for success to be created. And then after that, the only thing that you guys will pay on a monthly basis is just a monthly fee, and that's fully based on how much you guys bill your customers, like I mentioned before, right? One deal covers the whole service. So we're going to work that out. It's been awesome, super pumped. If you guys have any questions, please leave a comment below. Next step, we'll walk you through exactly what it looks like and we'll get you guys rolling.